This is Miss Jackson. I want to make a quick video covering the three strategies that we've learned for solving two-digit by one-digit multiplication problems. The first strategy that we learned is known as the area model. To use the area model to solve a problem, we first need to start with a multiplication problem. I'm going to solve 54 times 3. Step one to solving this problem using the area model is to decompose your two-digit number into the value of its tens and ones. So this 5 is not a 5. This 5 is in the tens place, therefore it has a value of 50. This 4 is in the ones place, therefore it has a value of 4. To solve using the area model is to draw the actual model itself, which is typically a longer rectangle divided vertically into two sections. Along the top, you're going to label using that decomposed two-digit number. So you're going to have your 50 over the bigger section and then the 4 over the smaller section. Down the side, you're going to label with the single-digit number. One side, one digit, we're going to use the 3. From there, we're going to start by multiplying the numbers across the top by the number on the side. So we're going to have 3 times 4 first. Let's see if I can draw that. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. The next thing we're going to multiply is 3 times 50. 3 times 50 is 150. One thing that some of the kids tend to do to be able to solve the problems like 3 times 50 is they will mark out the 0, solve 3 times 5, which is 15, and then put that 0 back. What we've done here is taken the 3 and we've multiplied it by each part of 54. We've just done it in more manageable chunks. So by decomposing that number, it makes it a little bit more manageable. To find the total product of 54 and 3, the last thing we need to do is add what's known as these partial products. The partial products are part of the answer. So 150 is part of the answer, plus 12, which is part of the answer. When you combine that together, you come up with a product of 162. The area model seems to be a method that a lot of kids like because it's something that can organize and break things down fairly easily. And so it's one of the preferred method of a lot of students in class. It's also an extremely useful model to learn now because it becomes very useful in fourth grade when you start multiplying two-digit by two-digit numbers and even beyond that. If you can break it into little chunks and then put it together, it makes it a little bit easier and less of a chance to make a mistake. So let me erase this and I will show you the second strategy. The second strategy is known as partial products. We talked about the word partial in class. Partial means part. And so what we're going to get here are little parts of the answers that we're going to put together. One thing that we do in class also is look at how the three strategies that we're looking at today all relate to each other. What do they have in common? What's a little bit different? Because when we started with the area model, it's more of a concrete thing. We moved to partial products, which is really a stepping stone to get us to the standard algorithm, which we'll look at last. So let's solve 54 times 3 using partial products. You're going to set this one up like the standard algorithm. The standard algorithm is what so many of us grew up with. It's the only method that we were taught. And so we're just going to set that up. Step one is always to set up the problem. And even though it sounds kind of silly, it's an important step. We need to make sure everything is aligned in the correct place value spot. Once it's set up, we start in the ones place. We're going to multiply 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. The next thing we're going to do is multiply the tens. 3 times 5. However, this 5 is not just a 5, it is a 50. 3 times 50 is 150. The last thing that we have to do is take these partial products. Again, 12 is part of the answer. It's one product. 150 is another answer, or another product that we got. It's part of the answer also. We need to combine this together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 5 is 6. Nothing plus 1 is 1. The answer to this is 162. The last strategy that we're going to look at today is the standard algorithm. It is the one that so many parents know and love because it's what we learned. For the standard algorithm, again, you set up your problem, that's step 1, and you're going to make sure that it's set up nice and neat. From there, we're going to, just like partial products, start by multiplying in the ones place. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. We're going to drop our 2, carry our 1, and I like to put a little addition sign by that. That's a note that reminds me, in the end, I'm going to need to add that 1 that was regrouped or carried over to the tens place. The next thing we're going to do is multiply in the tens. 3 times 5 is 15, and the last step is to add that 1 on there. 15 plus 1 is 16. So our answer here is 162. From the 3 methods, the 2 that tend to be the favorites among students are the standard algorithm and the area model. Most students don't use partial products, but I have had a few this year that have really kind of taken to that. I don't care how they solve the problems, as long as they can find the correct answer, whatever's comfortable to them to solve. There will even be some problems, let's just look at 22 times 2, where some of them are going to want to just add 22 plus 22. That's perfectly fine. So there are many methods to solve these problems. Whatever works for each student is fine with me. These are just 3 methods that we looked at to help them along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Would love to help you with any of these methods if you need any sort of clarification. Thank you.